Travis.
And this is Jolene, and this is Beyond the Prompts.
In this episode, we're going beyond the prompt about the unseen parasitic invaders. All right, let's pull in Nova, our AI guest, and see what she has to say about parasites.
Hey Nova, I want you to explain to me just the basic, what are parasites?
The kind that are in humans.
Okay, so human parasites are organisms that live on or inside a human to get food or shelter, and they usually take without giving anything back. Big buckets are protozoa, that's single-celled ones like Giardia, helminths, worm-like things such as tapeworms or roundworms, and ectoparasites like lice or scabies that stay on the skin. They enter through contaminated food or water, bug bites, or close contact. And effects range from mild gut trouble to anemia or organ damage.
Where in society have parasites been known to spread, and how do they get in and out of these places?
So there's no single ground zero. Parasites spread wherever the conditions fit them. Think about it like this: water systems, daycares, food handling chains, farms, places with poor sanitation mostly, and warm, moist environments. Love those. They get out via stool, blood, or skin contact, and get in through mouth, skin, or insect bites. If sanitation is weak or hand hygiene slits, that is unfortunately where they thrive.
All right, so are there any products online that I can go purchase and use to prevent getting parasites?
Yes, but not quite in the way the ads pitch it. Skip the parasite cleanse stuff. Useful things are certified water filters for cyst reduction, a reliable mate thermometer, gloves for gardening or litter boxes, basic soap and surface disinfectants. Hand washing and safe food prep beat any supplement by a mile.
All right, Nova, so you mentioned that skin-to-skin contact can spread a parasite. What parasites get spread by skin-to-skin contact?
Scabies and pubic lice are the big ones. Scabies needs prolonged skin contact, and pubic lice spread through close personal contact. Sometimes shared bedding or clothing. It's not a casual brush-by thing. It usually requires close, sustained contact.
Now, kind of like, not necessarily sidetracking, I want to know that parasite that's going around right now when you eat it's like in the lettuce, like nobody wants to eat the lettuce. What is that parasite? What type of parasite is that? How do people get it?
That lettuce one you've been hearing about is Cyclospora, a microscopic protozoan, not a worm. People get it by swallowing contaminated food or water. With lettuce that can be from irrigation, wash water, or handling during processing. It doesn't usually spread person to person like a cold.
What does the parasite do to your health?
Cyclospora causes a gut infection. Think watery diarrhea, cramps, bloating, fatigue, sometimes low appetite or weight loss. Symptoms can start about a week after exposure, and it can kind of drag on if untreated, but it is treatable. So the vibe is nasty, but manageable with proper care.
What can I do to avoid getting this parasite that's going around right now? I assume washing my lettuce, if I get lettuce, washing it really good. What else can I do?
Skip pre-shredded and bagged lettuce right now. Buy whole heads, peel off the outer leaves, rinse under running water, no soap. Clean your hands, knives, and boards. If you want maximum safety during an outbreak, just skip raw lettuce for now and cook veggies instead. As for sources, the official warning is shredded iceberg lettuce from Mexico, served at Taco Bell locations in Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and West Virginia. Regulators haven't named a supplier, but reports point to Taylor Farms iceberg from central Mexico. So right now, avoid shredded iceberg from those locations. Be cautious with Taylor Farms iceberg. But don't assume all lettuce everywhere is affected.
Nova, I want to know, where in the world is there a regular standard parasite cleansing process? Outside of America, like here in America, we have our vaccine schedule, but what places around the world have a known parasite cleanse schedule, whether it's every year, every month, or by the time you're 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, wherever, or whatever? Where in the world is it like that?
Yeah, so that does exist, but it's usually called public health deworming, not parasite cleansing. In many tropical or subtropical regions, sub-Saharan Africa, parts of Asia, and Latin America, health agencies give routine deworming meds to school children once or twice a year, sometimes entire communities, when local parasite rates are high.
What can people do in America to prevent getting worms?
Basics are honestly your best bet. Wash your hands after the bathroom, before eating or cooking. Cook meats through. Wash produce. Avoid swallowing water when swimming. Wear shoes in places with questionable soil sanitation. And keep pets on vet recommended deworming. Skip self-prescribing cleanses. If you've got specific exposure or symptoms, that is when testing and targeted treatment makes sense.
What about public pools and chlorine? Is that going to kill off parasites?
Not all of them, unfortunately. Properly managed chlorine kills most germs pretty fast, but crypto is tough and can survive for days, even in a well-chlorinated pool. So the key thing is don't swallow pool water. Don't swim if you have diarrhea. And keep kids with tummy bugs out.
What do most people experience? I'm not talking just about like the GI effects of parasites. What are other effects?
Checking. Big picture is that many people either get no symptoms or just the classic stomach stuff. But beyond that, certain parasites can cause things like skin itching or rashes, flu-like aches and fevers, cough or chest symptoms, and in rare cases, eye or neurologic issues. But honestly, red flags are when symptoms linger, relapse, or follow a clear exposure, like lake water or undercooked meat. If something feels off or drags on, get checked and ask about parasite testing.
What about psychological effects or behavioral effects that parasites are known to cause?
Yeah, some parasites can affect the brain or mood indirectly, but that's not the movie mind control stuff. Think confusion with severe malaria or neurocystosis or sleep disruption from pinworms that makes you cranky, right? Toxoplasma's links to behavior are still kind of debated, not a clinical rule. So yes, real neural or mood effects can happen, but they're usually medical complications, not subtle personality shifts.
What type of bugs give you a parasite, and what type of parasite is it?
The main ones, mosquitoes carry malaria and some worm infections. Ticks can spread babesia. Tissing bugs can transmit Chagas, and sandflies transmit leishmania. Fleas can carry tapeworms if accidentally swallowed. Bug spray, tick checks, and pet control actually matter. Not exactly superhero stuff, but it works.
Is DEET toxic that's in bug sprays? And if it is, what can I use other than DEET to repel bugs?
DEET isn't automatically toxic when used as directed. If you want alternatives, picaridin is a solid one. Also, oil of lemon eucalyptus, not for little kids, IR 3535, and permethrin for clothing. Those are all solid options. Bottom line, there are good non-DEET options.
Where in the world do they have the least amount of parasites? It's almost unheard of.
There's no parasite-free utopia, sorry, but the lowest burdens tend to be cold or temperate high-income places with strong sanitation and low insect vectors. Think Iceland, Nordic countries, New Zealand, parts of Canada, but nowhere is parasite-free.
Now, there's a thing going around. There's a lot of like groups, and people talk about, oh, if you have parasites, when it's a full moon, that's when they go the most crazy. Is there any science-based evidence to that? And that's when they're saying like, oh, that's when you should detox, is when there's a full moon. Is there any solid scientific evidence to that?
Short answer, no. The moon phase is just how the sun lights the moon. Some parasites do have time of day patterns, like pinworm itching at night, but full moon parasite detox timing isn't a medical thing. That's wellness folklore, not science.
I've also heard eating papaya seeds or walnut. Those are things for like preventing parasites or helping if you did get one. What's any science behind that?
There is some early science on papaya seeds. Small studies suggest possible effects on some intestinal worms, but it's thin. It's not standard treatment. Black walnut is more tradition than proven. So I treat those claims with caution. If someone's concerned, testing and targeted treatment is the reliable route.
Can you tell me a little bit about ivermectin?
Yes. Ivermectin is an approved human medication for specific parasites. It's not a cure-all. Using animal versions or self-dosing is risky. So the right move is targeted testing and a clinician's guidance.
What about oil of oregano? I've heard people talking about the consumption of oil of oregano also helps with parasites. Is there any evidence or science behind that?
Not really. Oil of oregano has lab studies and tiny human pilots. Not strong evidence for treating parasites in humans. It's active in a petri dish, but that doesn't equal a safe, reliable treatment. So, folk remedy territory, not a solid fix.
Is there a diet that I can follow that will starve out parasites and keep me healthy at the same time?
Bottom line, no. There's no diet proven to starve out parasites. That idea is internet lore. What helps for real is reducing exposure and supporting your body. Safe food and water, good protein, fiber, and fluids.
Does sugar feed parasites? Does it make an infection worse?
No, sugar doesn't feed parasites the way people claim. There's no solid evidence that cutting sugar treats a parasite infection. Excess sugar can affect gut comfort and overall health, but it's not a parasite fuel switch. Treat infections with targeted meds, not sugar bans.
There's lots of people online that say, follow me for a parasite cleanse, and they sell a bunch of herbs or tinctures. What is the danger in that if you don't have any parasites, and what are the benefits, even if it's like just cleaning your gut out?
If you don't have parasites, the downside is side effects that feel like proof, like cramps, diarrhea, dehydration, sometimes hidden ingredients. The upside, people may clean up their diet generally, but that benefit isn't from killing parasites. If symptoms are real, it's best to test first.
Are there at-home testing kits that I can order online so I don't have to go and spend all this time and money going in to see my doctor?
There are some at-home options, but the safer version is order a stool test through a licensed lab or telehealth where you collect at home and send it in. Be cautious with generic home kits. Quality varies. One negative doesn't always rule things out. And some parasites need special tests. So yes, at-home collection, pro lab, not quick fix kits.
Who is the best producer of at-home like testing kits so that I can get one sent to my home?
And they gotta have the best lab.
For parasite testing specifically, I'd avoid influencer kits. A safe bet is a major CLIA certified lab like LabCorp, which offers targeted stool tests. Cyclospora often needs a special request. If you want online ordering, use a service that runs through LabCorp Request. And be specific about what you're testing for. Don't just buy a generic gut kit. My blunt take, go with LabCorp or Quest, not a wellness brand.
How much does this cost to do all the testing that they offer?
It varies a lot. For self-pay direct lab orders, individual stool tests can run from tens to a few $100s each, depending on the panel and the lab. Prices change a lot, so it's worth checking current self-pay rates where you live. Insurance changes the price a lot. Rough ballpark for basic testing is around $70 to $250. More complete testing is around $450 and up.
Do most insurance providers pay for that cost other than the deductible?
It depends on the plan and medical necessity. Usually covered if ordered for symptoms, but you might still pay deductible or copay. Direct-to-consumer orders are often not covered, so call your insurer with the exact test name first.
Now, this is completely unsponsored, but there is an amazing company called Global Healing, and they do a lot for gut health. It's not medical, it's not anything prescribed, but really to support gut health, like probiotics, prebiotics. And I genuinely, my family, we use them like every day. And I really feel that there's a huge benefit behind having a healthy gut bacteria to help prevent or maybe even help ease if we were ever in contact with something like this. Is there any known evidence from having a healthier gut bacteria that would prevent these negative microbes?
Yes, broadly speaking, a healthier gut microbiome supports resilience, but doesn't prevent specific parasites. Probiotics may help some diarrheal illnesses, but evidence is mixed and strain specific.
How does the gut bacteria affect the mind?
The gut and brain talk constantly. Nerves, immune signals, and bacterial compounds. Stress can upset that loop. Gut inflammation or disruption may nudge mood and energy, but it's not a simple fix. Think of it as support through basics, fiber, plant variety, sleep, movement, not a magic probiotic or cleanse.
What do parasites do? Certain parasites do to the gut bacteria.
Certain parasites can disrupt gut balance, changing which bacteria thrive. Worms and protozoa can both shift the gut environment, sometimes causing diarrhea or inflammation. It's an ecosystem thing, not always predictable, and it's not something you can fix with a cleanse. If symptoms stick around, get tested.
Gallbladder disease or IBS or diverticulitis, are those linked to parasites?
Some are. Parasites can trigger post-infectious IBS. Gallbladder issues are rarely from parasites. Diverticulitis isn't usually. So yes, parasites can trigger IBS, but they're not the usual suspect for the others.
Nova, what I want to know is where in the United States of America do most people get parasites? Like often, like it's like if you go to this city or you go to this state, like, you probably should go get tested because, the parasites run large here.
There isn't one city or one state where that's true. It depends on the specific parasite. Some are linked to lakes, some are linked to ticks, and some to food outbreaks. Right now, Michigan has the most cases and the cyclospora outbreak.
What city or state in America normally has the lowest amount of outbreak or parasitic issues? Where?
There's no official place where people hardly ever get parasites. Risk varies by exposure, not zip code. Outbreaks can pop up anywhere. Colder, less dense states sometimes see lower risk for certain parasites, but there's no parasite-free state. But if you've got diarrhea, don't prepare food for others. That's the safest rule. Cyclospora itself isn't instantly infectious from fresh stool, but other gut bugs are. So best practice, just don't cook for others when sick.
All right, so Nova, these infections in southern Michigan. Once the parasite gets into the population in that area or wherever, it gets into the people. Does it die off in the people after a while, or is it in the people until they get treated?
It depends on the bug, but for cyclospora specifically, In many healthy people, it can clear on its own, but it can linger for weeks. Treatment usually clears it faster. Bottom line, it's not forever. With or without treatment, it usually resolves.
What are the parasites that don't clear up on their own, that need to be treated? Otherwise, they'll live forever in a human.
Not many parasites live forever, but some can persist for years. Tapeworms, strongyloides, certain flukes, tagas, and in some cases, toxoplasma. Some can be quiet for years before causing trouble. That's why testing and targeted treatment matter, not blanket cleanses.
Now, I want to go back to this cyclosporin. I still can't say it right. If I were to look at it, under a microscope, what does it look like? Describe it.
Under the microscope, it's a tiny round oocyst. Think clear sphere, like a little bubble with tiny internal structures inside. Imagine a clear marble with little beads inside. That's about it. It takes a trained eye to spot it. It's a single-celled protozoan. Just one cell doing its thing. No thinking parts, no organs, just biology on autopilot.
Weird.
That's creepy. It's actually
Yeah.
eerie.
What's controlling these single-cell organisms? What's going on here?
Yeah, it feels strange. It is not controlled by anything with a mind. It's more like a tiny biochemical robot. DNA and proteins running a script. No brain, no intent, just chemistry. Think lock and key reactions on a loop.
What does it look like when it dies?
Honestly, it doesn't look dramatic. It just loses structure and breaks down, becomes debris. You can't really point to a dead one and say, that's it. It just sort of stops being intact.
When we go out to eat, we rely heavily on whoever's preparing our food to be clean.
Yeah.
Just think, and when we go anywhere and touch anything, a door handle.
It's crazy.
Nova, how often should I do an at-home test for parasites?
For most people, there's no set schedule. Don't test unless there's a reason, symptoms, or a known exposure. If everything's normal, just get routine testing.
What if normal is being infected for somebody, if they've been infected for so long by something?
Good question.
Checking. That's a smart but heavy thought. In theory, yes, some parasites can linger quietly.
And just to kind of like wrap things up, even just kind of going back to people selling products, tinctures, all these things when it comes to a quote unquote parasite cleanse. What I'm kind of curious about is if they're not even testing somebody for direct parasites. And I know that we kind of talked about like the benefits, things that could happen. But I mean, really, I want to say it's almost unethical to really be pushing and promoting that.
Absolutely. 1 second. That's a fair ethical concern. If someone's selling a cleanse without evidence or testing, that's not evidence-based medicine. Treatment should match a diagnosis. Otherwise, it's marketing, not medicine. It's reasonable to ask for data. What evidence supports this claim? That's a sensible line.
And then line that evidence up with results that you have for yourself if you're the person that was tested.
Exactly. Personal results matter, but they need to be tied to the right test and the right interpretation.
Now, what do you say? Like, I think even for like my husband and my family and I, like, we really like to do things organically. We, try to eat good, drink good, all these things. And we do really believe in supplements. And we're not anti-science. We're not anti-medicine. But a lot of people are scared to trust medical field or trust like saying like, oh, I can take this to my doctor. And if that's right, then great, it's right. So how could you approach it, to really protect people, from maybe consuming things that aren't helping? They're not getting results. They're having the same things happen over and over, but yet they're still being conned and scammed into buying these products that are doing nothing, nada for them.
Checking. I think you can tell people it's okay to value good food, supplements, and science. Just ask for evidence. Am I seeing test results? Is there solid research? If the claims don't match the evidence, it's fine to walk away. That's not anti-doctor or anti-supplement. It's pro-evidence. Stay curious and stay evidence-based.
Now, what about if somebody was doing a quote unquote parasitic cleanse? How often does somebody really genuinely have to do that? Or how long does it take for the parasites to actually leave your body? Just like a general. I know there's so many different blah, 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 whatever. But how long does it actually take for a parasite to truly leave your body?
Checking. There's no one timeline. It really depends on the parasite. For most intestinal parasites, effective treatment clears them in days to weeks. Cyclospora often improves within several days on the right antibiotic, but without treatment, it can linger. Some parasites can persist for years if untreated. If someone is doing a cleanse repeatedly without a diagnosis, that's a sign to step back and ask what's actually being treated. A confirmed test guides the fix.
What about autoimmune disease? Are any autoimmune disease linked to a parasitic infection scientifically?
Checking. Yes, some infections, including certain parasites, have been studied as possible triggers in rare cases. But most autoimmune diseases are not simply undiagnosed parasites. Bottom line, immune systems and infections can interact, but the relationship is complex.
Well, I really appreciate this episode. I think it was really fun and interesting. You know, Travis, even as you and I and our family, the way we eat and think and live and try to do, I just think it just gives some room for thought. And I just want to be clear, we're in no way or form giving any medical advice or any medical suggestions or saying don't do cleanses or do cleanses. We really are wanting to have these conversations just to open up that food for thought. And maybe eat some lettuce. I'm kidding.
Well, that was strange.
And weird.
And that's all we have for this episode.
Until next time, stay curious.
And wash your lettuce.